This is the Detroit Sports Podcast Network.
You go and you beat Western Michigan, who we haven't beaten in a long time. It's a great win for us. And you know what? I've been here so long, I got friends, and look what I got because we beat Western Michigan. A box of Carlos Fluente's Opus X1. I mean, this is the cigar, man. And he signed it, too. See, you got friends in high places when you win, right? Everything's good when you win, Jalen. You don't get one of these, though. Yeah. It's great to beat Western Michigan, man. It's great. And I love Steve Hawkins. He and I have been going at it for years. I told him before the game that we were reminiscing a little bit. We beat maybe the mid-'90s, the first time I ever coached against him. He was at Quincy College. And we played them in the NCAA tournament. First time Oakland had ever been to the NCAA tournament. We were at a 20-point underdog. We went there and we beat them. And it's probably the only time, he says we've beaten them since, but I don't remember. But it's probably the only time we've ever beaten, or I've coached a team that's beaten one of his teams. But it was probably the single most important victory in Oakland history because our administration at that time completely changed their opinion of basketball when we went to a Division II NCAA tournament for the first time and won because of the media that we got, because we were just a Division II team that nobody cared about. And all of a sudden we're winning NCAA tournament games, and all of a sudden Free Press News, all those people were here. And it changed the path of Oakland basketball. And so Hawk and I talked about that before the game, and I told him they've beaten us 4 in a row, twice in the arena, and to beat his team is quite an accomplishment for us because I think he's one of the top coaches there is. So it was a really, really good win for Oakland tonight.
Questions for Coach?
Coach, you started off with a 17-4 run in the second half. Must have been a heck of a halftime.
No, it's like I told you there. The shooting's the last thing I worry about with this team. Now, I am a little concerned. We, in the exhibition game and the 2 regular season games, in uniform in front of people, we've struggled in the first half shooting. And it's almost like, I got to make one, you know. And then once they get tired and they don't think anymore, then they start making them. This team can really shoot. 11 deep we can shoot, and so I don't worry about that. I knew that's going to happen. In the scrimmage against Central Michigan, we shot it from the get-go, but there were no fans there for that. You know, there was no hype for that. And I think that we're seeing that the kids are really hyped, and as the year goes on, you know, we'll get hyped for the Detroit game, you know, but for the most part, we'll learn to handle that, and we'll start making shots early in the game too. So the last thing I worry about are shots. Our defense, I think, kept us in. You know, we thought we did a good job on the boards. To that team, they missed 40 shots, and they only got 11 offensive rebounds. That's really good, especially a team that big and that lives on physicality and rebounding. So I was really pleased with today.
About halfway through the first half, you had referenced that you felt the game looked like a pickup game and that you really wanted the team to get into the flow of the offense. What challenges did you see in terms of the team getting into the flow of the offense early in the game?
Well, everybody wanted what I just said. They all wanted to make a shot. It was like we were heat checking to make a shot, you know. And we can't do that. Cumberland came off the bench and within 1 possession is firing up a shot. And Javen, I told him, you know, Javen, I'll take that shot, but not 1 possession into the game. You've been in 5 minutes, then take that shot. And so we kept doing that, you know. I got 11 guys in the first half. In all my career of coaching, I've never done this before. We've done it in every game. I got 11 guys that can play, and it's going to take some time. We got guys that are playing roles. Xavier's playing a role he didn't play last year. You know, Sharon was playing point. We had a lot of mix and matches. Sharon's now the assassin. You know, he's the guy. Hooper's gone. It's Sharon. It's Martez. And getting Martez to shoot when he's supposed to shoot. And then he shoots with a minute to go in the game. You know, so he's not understanding. But he will. He will. We'll play enough and get enough times. We made a bunch of mistakes down the stretch, and it didn't hurt us tonight, but we'll learn from it. The shot Stevie took with 2 minutes to go was he learned from it. We fumbled the ball and missed layups, and we still were able to win by 17 points. So there's a lot that we can improve on, and that's good feeling for a coach. You know, if we had played perfect and won by 17, and you're thinking, how are we playing this good this early? But there's a lot to improve on, and that's what I'm excited about.
Coach, as good as your teams have been offensively, where does this team's spurtability rank? That's a word we made up during the broadcast.
I read that a coach in the league used that word last week, so I wondered what that word meant. Too soon to tell, Neil. I know in practice we feel we can score. I think that this is a team that's you know, we probably aren't going to lead the nation this year because we can wear people out and we're long and athletic and we can really guard the ball with multiple players. So that's going to slow games down. And I think as we get into February and March, I think you're going to see us scoring more points then because we're still fumbling around and finding our way. And then into next year with everybody back, and that I think you'll see this group of kids eventually be a 90-a-game team. Right now, I'm happy with 77 and 78 as long as we're only giving up 70 and 60. I'm really happy with that. I think when you're as athletic as we are and the game gets ugly, that's good for you. You know, and I thought that game got ugly in the first half. But when you're as athletic as we are, you usually win those games.
You mentioned Isaiah Brock, Greg.
The turning point of the game.
Yeah.
Turning point in the game. And I talked to the team afterwards about being ready. He played 30 seconds in the first half. And Xavier was struggling, had his head down. Isaiah went in. It says he didn't get any blocks, but he must have affected 6 shots. And then his head was above the rim, and then he comes down and wheels by the big guy and scores like he looked like he knew what he was doing. And I know he doesn't. So that and what happened when he did that is we made 3 straight threes after that. He juiced the team, and that's what a guy coming off the bench has to do. If I had a game ball, he'd have gotten it.
Coach, speaking of Isaiah Brock, I'm trying to remember the last time you had a guy defensively that's capable of doing what he's doing. I mean, he brings something to the party that not a lot of people do defensively. Right.
Keith Benson was the last guy that could affect a guy dribbling in going, I don't want to shoot it. You know, what Isaiah did tonight, though, is he executed our defensive fundamentals. So we're going to guard the ball. They go into the big guy and we hand it off. This is the way we're going to guard. He didn't get a lot of reps this weekend with the first team leading up to that. But yet when he went in the game, usually guys like that make a mistake. You got to yell at him, come on, Isaiah, you know what we're supposed to do. He didn't. He executed exactly how we wanted to play that handoff. And that, I mean, they didn't score for 5 or 6 straight possessions because there he was. And so it was very pleasing.
Coach, how big of a role do you see for Xavier when you talk about, I mean, some of the little finishing things around the hoop and maybe a little bit of the conditioning? How high of the ceiling do you see for a guy like him?
Well, there's not, conditioning's never going to be any different than it is because he's in great shape. He plays hard and he gets tired and he's going to have to come in and out. He's a very important piece. If we win the championship, he's going to be the 6th man of the year in the league. If we don't win the championship, he probably won't be. But if we win it, he'll be that. That's how important he is to our team. And tonight he had an off night, missed some easy looks, but he's a sophomore that's getting, you know, he didn't get extended minutes last year, late in the season, a couple games, but for the most part he was a 6 to 8 minute man. Now he's an 18 to 20. What did he play tonight? And he had a bad night, and he played 20. Normally he's going to play 28. He's a very important key.
Not to take anything away from Western, but working the kinks out against a team like Western instead of, say, UCLA with one of those loaded schedules from other years, how's that change things?
Why you got to ask a question like that, man? I said it media day and I'll say it again. When the season's over, we'll look back at this and we'll figure out if this new idea of scheduling is good or bad. We're 2-0. I don't know if we've ever been 2-0 in the Division I era. Have we?
3 times before, so it's the 4th time.
I have a bad memory. But I know one thing, we've never been 4-0. And we have 2 home games. We have?
No.
And we have 2 home games coming up. And right now, I really like it. At the end of the season, if we didn't develop the way we have in the past, then we'll figure it out. I'm glad, as I said at Media Day, we have this schedule. I'm glad we're getting to play 17 home games. I'm glad that our student section has packed exhibition. They've packed Bowling Green. They've packed Western Michigan. I'm glad we got it going here. Our administration runs as good a game day as there is in the country. It's exciting. People come and they love it here. The blacktop and all that. So I'm glad we're playing here and we're not gone the whole month of November like we normally are. I'm glad we don't have North Carolina, UCLA, Gonzaga, Cal, Indiana, Michigan State in 6 of your first 8 games. I like that right now. But at the end of the year, we'll see.